Welcome to ARW. I'm Harold, and we're still working on the Joe Pazinski pantograph. Today we'll make the anchor block, which is this piece right here. It's got, as you can see, a sort of T shape. It's got 3 holes in it. This one reamed to precision size. These 2 holes go all the way through, and they're threaded on each side. So this is what we're going to accomplish, the anchor block. Of course, there's a lot of parts, and there'll be a lot more videos to go with this one. I can tell you it's a beautiful day in Texas today. The weather's about 72 degrees outside, and that's Fahrenheit, not Celsius. So it's really comfortable. We had a cold front come in last night with severe thunderstorms and all that sort of thing, and high winds, and I slept through it. I've seen Joe Pye square up a piece of metal like this. He squared it up on 5 sides, which is pretty good. It's just the 6th side left over. So I think that I'm going to just do just like Joe Pye, and I'm going to square this thing up with it sticking up out of the vise like that, and I can get it down to the finished sizes he shows. And then I can flip it over and finish that 6th side. So let's go ahead and creep up on it a little bit here. And we're going to drop this guy down a little bit. Make a cut across there. And I think it's probably running about the right speed already. You guys are on the wrong side to see it, so I'll move you around. I guess it's mostly smooth on this side. You can see where I cut it. Not perfect, but mostly. And we'll just let it power feed across there. After all, that's what I put all those power feeds on there for anyway. I think it should make a better surface than me cranking around on it. We'll find out. Alright, let me get around here where I can see. I should disturb you guys for a second. Yeah. Should be spinning faster, obviously. Let me work this out before we start trying to get down to the right size. Okay, I cranked it up to about 1900. Let's see how well we do with that. That was only about a 5,000th touch. You can tell it's super fine stuff, and now it's a super slick surface. So I was running the end mill too slow. Alright, I'm going to come around the front where I can watch it, and well, I can do it around back too, I guess. And we'll square up that back side, and then we'll come around and work on the front. Hang on. Well, yesterday, being the incredibly graceful person that I am, I kicked the tripod again, knocked the camera over, the battery fell all apart. And then last night, while I was sitting there looking at the pieces, I took everything totally apart, put it all back together, and taped it up with shipping tape, and now it's working again. Oh well. I did have to take a little bit of video with my iPhone before I got around to that part, but hopefully I'll remember to include it. So what we got to do now is this part here has got to be 1.9 inches, so we got to take off about 1/10 of an inch. And we'll do that by taking just slightly larger cuts than we did on the rest of it. See how it comes out. Cuts really nice. That's one of those kind of end mills that Dennis Nolan gives to everybody but me. I bought this one at an auction. Making a big boy cut there. Soon we'll be down to size. Well, that big boy cut was about 7/1000ths too big. But I think the dimension on this side is just hanging out into the air anyway. So we're going to go with it. Now I need to square up the top. See if I can do that without messing up. So I'm just squaring off the flat side with a light cut. Alright, that ought to clean up that side, and I can take it out and clean it up and roll it over, deburr it and all that stuff, and then we'll get it to the right thickness, which is 3/4 of an inch. Well, here's our piece that I've cut down, and we need to get rid of this 1/4 of an inch right here, which I think we can do quite well. We'll just clean up the vise and mount it in there and go for it. Alright, we'll start squaring off this end with something like 30/1000ths cuts. After all, I'm at home hobbyist. I'm not in a hurry to make production photos or anything.
I had a job like that one time. That's hard. I think manufacturing like this is not my cup of tea, but it's a lot more fun when you go do it at home. Alright, so we're going to just back and forth across this a bunch of times, so I'll bring you back and get near the right thickness.
Alright, now we only have 43/1000ths left to go, and we will be at 3/4 of an inch thick. So far, measuring time. $750.5. That's not bad. Pretty close. It's good enough for me. So what we're going to do is, I've got this tiny little lip sticking off here, right here. I guess I can just break it off. And then I'll deburr it. And we'll mark it up and go on to the next item. Okay, now we got to cut a little notch out of this thing, right? Like that. That'll be 0.375, I think, something like that. I'll have to check the drawing again. And it's coming over to right here along those lines, those layout lines. We got that so that I can check my sanity. I know it needs checking. So okay, so I'm about 32/1000ths away from having the depth cut right. Okay, so I'm going to set it to cut. Okay, make sure there's no burr here. Calipers. That's 0.381, and the depth I want is 0.385. Yeah, so I'm 4 thousandths short of being deep enough. Let's check it across the other way. That's 1.148. So, that's what it says. Is there a burr here? Nope. No, it's 1.151. Once I get it lined up straight here. Well, I got a different measurement here, 1.1495. Yeah, 1.1495. That's within a half inch. I mean, a half a thousand. We're going to be happy with that. I'm going to have to drop the thing down another 4 thousandths to finish the cut. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. Alright. As long as I don't cut my finger, I'll be happy. To unlock this thing, it's hard to move. Now the last time that I found the edge of this thing for the other side, I used the piece of paper method. And I think that works just fine. So that's what we're going to use right here. And I think we're getting close, really, really close. Yep. So there we are. So we'll start cleaning up this side just like we did the others. I'm going to have to swap out the end mills. You hear that compressor running in the background? Oh, that tells my ears much happiness. I need to switch to a bigger end mill because the one I had was too short to make the whole cut. But there you are. We've got it now. And it's time for me to pull it out of there and start, you know, marking off the holes that have got to be drilled. All right, we're actually going to use this edge finder to find 2 X0 spots, one here and one here, or maybe one here, but I think one here and one here. And I'm not going to make video of it, but I wanted to make sure this is in the right spot and these are in the right spot. And the drawing calculates these two guys from this edge here, so that's what I'm going to do. Alright, there's the 3 holes where they're going to be. Now we need to see what diameter hole it is that's going to be there. The 2 small ones are 0.159 for 1032 tap. The large one is going to be 0.376 except item 12. So there's going to be a shaft in that one there. And let's see what item 12 is around here on the front. Item 12 is a 3/8 diameter drill blank. There you go. So I'll get the drill bits and we'll drill these suckers out to the right size. Since we're already right here, we'll go ahead and drill the small ones first. And they go all the way through because there's going to be a thread on both sides. So I guess it's quite alright. Those two holes are drilled. And I could tap the little bugger on this side while I'm lined up here. I think I ought to. One hole tapped on one side. I'll have to roll this thing over and tap it on the other side also. Alright, now we will switch from incremental mode to absolute mode. And we'll come back over here to this hole. And I'm going to run a slightly smaller drill bit in it. And then I'll ream it out. I think I've got the right size reamer. I suppose I should double check, huh? It may not work out like that. You guys take a break while I check reamers. Yes, I have a .376 reamer. So we will drop the trigger down. And we'll come over here and line up on top of it. Alright, we're in low gear. Put a little tap magic on there. Oh, it's good for taps, it's got to be good for reamers, huh? For threading that hole on the other side. Let's turn it over and find out. Read them and weep, they say. Looks pretty good to me. It looks like it's on the center. I got to deburr it, of course, and then we got to thread these two little guys. I think that ought to be easy enough. No need for you to watch that. Okay, here we are. We've got all the crud blown out of the holes. These two holes are threaded on both sides. This hole was reamed with a 1/over reamer, so it meets the specs. I don't think there's anything else to do on this one, so we'll call it quits for the day. This video may stretch into 2 or 3 or 4 parts because there's a lot of operations and it takes me a lot of time. Well, it seems like Bubba and Cooter was out of a job, and they got to read in the paper, and there was an ad for a team truck driver job. And so they thought, well, that'd be just right. They could both drive the truck, you know, and they'd work together, you know, because they're buddies and they like doing stuff together. So they go down and apply for it. And personnel manager interviews Bubba, you know, asks him all kind of truck driver kind of questions. And Bubba just barely passes. So he brings in Cooter. He asks him all kind of truck driving questions, and Cooter just barely passes, And so then he decides to ask him a question together. After all, they're going to be a driving team. So personnel manager says, well, he says, Cooter's asleep in the back of the truck there, and you're hauling 60,000 pounds of steel pipe, and you're going down a hill, and your brakes go out. He says, what are you going to do? Bubba thinks on it, and he thinks on it. He thinks more, and he thinks a long time about it. He says, I know what I'd do. And the personnel manager says, well, what's that? And he says, I'd wake up Cooter. And the personnel manager says, well, what reason would you have for waking up Cooter? And Bubba says, well, on account of he ain't never seen no big rig wreck before.